In the last episode of Nintendo Lounge, we discussed everything that happened at E3 in regards to Nintendo Switch, and now it's time to talk about the big dog, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Hello everyone, my name is Scott. Joining me is Jimmy Jamalam. How are you, sir?
Oh yeah, boy, that's me. We're gonna talk about some Smash Brothers. Yeah, boy, are you ready?
Smash Brothers. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that this is a new game. It's not a port. None of that nonsense anymore.
It's a new game. Please stop. Everyone that's like, oh, it's a port. Shut up. You don't know anything about game development at all. You're an idiot. Goodbye.
Jesus. Hello to all our new viewers. Yeah. Smash Brothers. I originally thought that this game was going to be a port back in the day. When it first got announced, I'm like, oh, it's probably just a Wii U port with just a few new characters.
Yeah.
Then, nah, not anymore. So if you still think that...
Yeah, enlightened me was like, no, it is thy new game from the heavens. It is coming down to us. This is a new game Sakurai is making. And you were like, nah. And then I was like, I'll explain myself. And then I did. And you were like, yeah, maybe, yeah. So, yeah. Also...
Wow. Just like every religion ever.
Exactly. Before we get super deep into it, I just also want to dispel something that everyone seems to be like kind of screaming about, is that this game is developed in the Unreal Engine, and I just want to say no. It's not, because there's nothing confirming that. There's nothing on the website confirming that. The only thing that says Unreal Engine is a little tag at the end of the actual E3 entire E3 video itself, the whole direct, and it doesn't specifically say if it's used for Smash or anything like that. It's just the logo there, because there was Fortnite and there was the Gundam game in there as well, that also used Unreal Engine apparently, but nothing about this says that Smash has Unreal Engine, and even if it did, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's an engine that people use, and it's effective, and it's a good engine, and it's reliable, and it actually runs pretty good for the most part, unless you're PUBG and you don't know how to make a stable game at all. But it's a fine engine. I don't know why people are freaking out saying this is going to be the worst Smash, because it's going to be possibly developed in Unreal Engine. It's not. It hasn't been confirmed at all, and it's probably not. But also, doesn't matter if it is. There we go. Got that done.
Whew, that was a nice rant there.
There we go. All right, let's get actually into the discussion.
Exactly. Let's get into the discussion. And the first thing to talk about is the amount of characters they announced. So Sakurai was like, all right, we're going to go through some characters. We're going to put a number next to each character to showcase when they first came out in a Smash game. For example, Mario would be the first one. Then you'd have characters like Ice Climbers that were number 37th, for example. Or Sonic that was 26. I think you should put those ones the other way around.
Remembering these, Jesus.
I'm completely wrong there. Don't quote me on those.
Okay.
So they went through them. We're like Mario, like okay, there we go. We got Samus, okay, that's fair enough. We got Wario, okay. Then we started getting some cooler ones. We had the Ice Climbers, and I was like, oh, Ice Climbers are back. We like that because they went in Wii U and 3DS. Then we had the DLC characters come back. We saw some Cloud. Everyone was like, oh, Cloud's back. Oh boy. And during this little section, I kind of just thought to myself, what if they're just bringing everyone back? But I didn't put much thought to it. I was like, whatever. Let's keep watching. And then all of a sudden, we're in this dark little room. We see some lightning, and my brain goes, Snake, and he's back. And
Snake's
then
back.
big font comes on the screen. Everyone is here. And then they showed off the rest of the characters, and basically everyone is here. Young Link, Pichu, Wolf, they're all back. Anyone who's ever been in a Smash game is in this Smash game. And even though they said everyone is here, later on I was like, wait, why are they bringing Young Link back? Which is a bit dumb of me there. But it's so cool to see every single Smash character here. No cuts. There's no chance of your favourite character being thrown to the side, like the Ice Climbers were, or Wolf, or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of cool. How do you think about that, Jimmy, having all these characters return? Because at first you were like, oh yeah, you should cut down on characters. Let's throw some away.
Okay, so to elaborate more on that, when this game was first kind of properly announced, we were talking about, character rosters, all that kind of stuff. I had a suggestion, and I was like, maybe they should cut back on some characters and kind of give us the most fleshed out and some of the highlight characters in the game, and kind of brush aside some characters like Lucario and a bunch of clones and all those kind of characters, and get rid of some Fire Emblem characters, and just kind of even it out a bit, get a nice, healthy, smaller sized, a nice, good dose of characters in there to make it a nice, well-packaged game that's all refined, all the characters are well fleshed out, everything like that. Cool. That was what I was thinking might be a really nice idea. But then obviously there was the impossible idea, which could be that they could bring everyone back, which I was like, they wouldn't do that, no, that's out of the question. Especially the one thing that really hit me in my head that made it feel like, no, they wouldn't do that, was Konami. I feel like they wouldn't cooperate. I feel like they'd be the company that would be like, nah, don't have Snake back, because I just feel like they're kind of in that situation where they're a bit poopy at the moment. So I was like, okay, this is out of the question, because this certain character and this certain character, they might be under a contract that they could only have a one game, which was the last game, and characters like Snake, they might not allow them. So I was like, they're not going to bring everyone back. So my next best thing was remove characters. But no, they did it, and I'm cool with it. The reason I'm cool with it is because the only two things would be refine the game, remove some of the filler characters, or just bring everyone back. You may as well. And they did it, so I'm cool with it. So yeah, I only had two options. Either get rid of some, or give us all of them. That was all I really had in my head, and they did the one that I thought was impossible. So I'm happy about it. I'm really happy about it. It's cool. And I just hope to see more.
We all love a happy Jim. And not only did they return all the characters, but they also threw in some more as well. And first off, we have the Inklings. They were announced back in the last Direct, but we finally got to see their movesets, see what they look like, see what the stage of Splatoon looks like. And it looks pretty faithful to the actual Splatoon games. You got all of their weapons. You got the fact that even with you using your gun, you slowly run out of paint, and you have to go into squid mode, swim for your ink to regain it, just like in the actual game, which I think is really cool. And the character looks really interesting. What do you think, Jimmy, of the Inklings?
The Inklings, yeah. I actually got back into Splatoon today. I don't know if you saw me online, but I got back into Splatoon today, and I'm just like, yeah, Splatoon's such a good game, and I'm so glad that the Inklings are in Smash. Like, I'm like, really, like, I'm chuffed. I'm bloody chuffed that they're in the game, because I'm just like, Splatoon is such a good game. Good to represent them. I'm happy. And they look like they represent it really well. Looks like they're some of the most fleshed out characters in the game in terms of just representing them as characters and their series. A lot of the time it's like some characters feel like they're generic swordsmen. Like every Fire Emblem character, they feel like, they could have one character from Fire Emblem and really kind of highlight that strategic kind of element. But I've got all the characters, it's fine, like I don't care. But the fact that they've got this Inkling, one Inkling character you can change between different skins, and it really just heavily represents Splatoon as a game and everything about it. So I'm happy. It works so well. So that's because I just played it today. I played it again today. I was like, dude, the Smash characters look really good. But yeah, I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it's basically Splatoon gameplay, but like a side scroller. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm just happy. Why am I happy right now?
Oh my god, we've got so much happy Jimmy. This is so weird. We're going to keep him like this,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we've also got some really cool alternate skins of the Splatoon Inklings. They look really cool, all different like styles, all looking fresh, I must say. And then Sakurai also introduced the concept of Echo Fighters. So we've had clones. We've had sort of like Dr. Mario as a clone, Dark Pit as a clone, Ganondorf as a clone, who now is no longer a clone. He has sort of a more unique moveset, which is pretty cool.
Yay.
He's got a sword now. People have been asking for this for years. But now we have Echo Fighters, which is kind of like a clone, but they've made clones more unique now. They've changed them up. And then Echo Fighters are the new clones, where they're almost the same, maybe just sort of tweaked adjustments. Maybe this move has some more damage, or this move has some more lag, stuff like that. So for example, they've made Lucina and Duck Pit a Echo Fighter, where they've kept Ganondorf, Dr. Mario, all those type of ones. They've sort of moved them away from being echoes. They've sort of made them their own character. For example, Dr. Mario has his own down B, whereas normal Mario has his flood. And now Ganondorf has a sword, whereas Captain Falcon, he uses Fists of Fury. They also announced a new Echo Fighter, which was Daisy, the princess. At first, Jimmy was like, "Oh my god, Daisy's in the game," and then I reminded him that he was an Echo Fighter, and Jimmy's excitement sort of turned down a little bit there. But I don't really mind the idea of Echo Fighters. I think they're pretty cool. It doesn't take long to develop an Echo Fighter. It's sort of like a very quick thing they can do. Throw it on there, add some more characters. It's not going to waste time. It's not going to waste resources because it's not going to take that long. But what are your thoughts on the Echo Fighters?
I've come to terms with it, but at the same time, you say that it's not wasting resources. I mean, technically it is, because you're still having to make the model and everything like that, and you're having to do this. I know the models are all available in other games and stuff like that, but at the same time, they could put that small amount of time they spend on a clone character and give that time to maybe another character and just build upon maybe like the Inklings or Mario, give him a new move, get rid of Flood, give him a Cappy move, for God's sake. And I don't know, but at the same time, people love Daisy and people love Duck Pit and the other character, then it's cool that they get representation in the game for people, so you know what, it's fine.
So there's been some sort of murmurs around in the community, sort of speculating what other Echo Fighters could happen, and one of the big ideas that everyone seems to agree on is Shadow the Hedgehog as an Echo Fighter for Sonic. Now, as a big Sonic fan myself, I would love this. I love Shadow. Shadow's one of my favourite characters.
He's a cool kid.
He's a cool kid, and he's a bit of an edgy boy as well, and I like me some edgy boys.
So edgy.
But Jimmy, is there any sort of Echo Fighter you'd like to see if they did anything?
Oh god, Echo Fighters. Jeez, oh my god.
Funky
Smash
Kong maybe?
Brothers. Oh, that could be cool. Funky Kong. Make him a Echo Fighter for Donkey Kong. That might be cool. Actually no, Funky Kong I feel like he could make his own character though. Smash Brothers character roster. Hold on, I'm gonna like see if I can find anyone that I might be like, that could be an Echo Fighter. This works. I'm looking at the Smash Brothers.
We've got all day. Come on.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna pick out one, and then you can edit around this if you want. It's up to you. Do what you want, man. Never mind. I can't do it. You know what we need? You know what we need, dude?
What do we need?
We need Slippy.
Slippy? But
Slippy
how? What would he
from
be an
Star
Echo
Fox.
Fighter of?
Wolf.
Sure, why not? So moving on before Jimmy has any other terrible ideas, we also had the new character announcement of Ridley as well. Ridley's finally in Smash Bros. People have been wanting Ridley forevers. I was never too keen on the Ridley idea. I was sort of in the Ridley's too big category of people. But everyone was like, no, we want Ridley! And they're finally getting what they want, which is, it's good for them. And I'm just like, that's cool, I guess. I wasn't too hyped for it. But yeah, good on all of you people who've been shouting and asking very
for 20
politely
years, yeah.
for Ridley. But I do love the Metroid games. Ridley's a really cool character, and it's cool to see him proportioned quite smaller. But at the same time, that happens to Bowser and stuff like that in Smash Bros. And it works well, and Ridley looks pretty cool as well. The sort of aesthetic of Ridley is a bit weird in Smash, but at the same time, so does Snake. So you can't really say anything there. Jimmy, what were your reactions when Ridley first showed up?
Surprisingly, I'll point this out. I was one of the first people to immediately just jump like, oh, it's Ridley, because I noticed the area that they were in. It was like that weird tube that goes down the bridge going across, like where Kylo Ren kills Han Solo. Spoilers. But like I've watched a couple of reactions of people watching it, and it takes them quite a while to kind of process that it's Ridley. Like it takes the moment where like Ridley stabs Mario in the heart and kills him for them to be like, oh, it's Ridley. But literally the camera fades in, so the big tube. I'm like, oh, it's Ridley. Like duh. But everyone else seems to take time to process. So in my mind, I'm like, are people real Nintendo fans, or are they just pretending to be Nintendo fans to get, you know, attention and to gain subscribers? They pretend they've played Metroid before. Anyway, but yeah, in terms of of Ridley being too big, I was never in that camp because I was like, they resize characters all the time. It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. If you just visually capture the character, then you've done it. That's all you need to do. So I didn't think it mattered. And Ridley's size in the games varies anyway. So I don't see how that matters at all. Like when a character is inconsistent in its size already, you can shrink it. It doesn't matter. So who cares? It
Fair
works and
enough.
it's great. Yeah.
So yeah, Ridley finally announced. I'm looking forward to seeing what other characters they announce in upcoming Nintendo Directs. But that's in the future. We're talking about what they've announced right now. And next up, we're talking about stages. And oh boy, have they announced a lot of stages so far. Over 85 stages have been announced for Smash Bros. Ultimate. What a cool name. We haven't even talked about that. The game's called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's pretty
That's the
cool.
best title they could ever come up with.
It's
So
a
good.
pretty cool title.
love it.
In Japan, they've got a different name. It's not as cool. It's just called Super Smash Bros. Special.
But you have to say it like Super Smash Bros. Special. It's special. It's a special one. Like it's our special Smash Brothers. And then we're like, nah, mate, we got the bloody ultimate one, mate. Get out of here.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Such a
Yeah,
cool
boy.
name. And it seems like the Ultimate. We've got every single character coming in. We've got the possibility of every single stage coming in. Because we're almost there. We only probably need another 15 or so stages, and then we've got every single stage that's appeared in Smash. Apart from Miiverse, I don't think that one will come in.
Maybe
but
it will.
yeah.
I think it will.
And then we've also had new stages being shown off. For example, New Donk City. We've had The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Hyrule. We've had what else have we had, Jimmy? We've had the Splatoon map. Oh my gosh, so
Moray
many
Towers.
stages. There you go. Thanks
there's
for
a lot of new
remembering the name.
ones.
What do you think
Yeah.
about all these stages coming in?
It's cool. I'm gonna just vouch and say definitely getting all stages. There's no doubt about it. And with me, the Miiverse one, if there's one they have to cut, they probably might cut that. But at that point, they may as well maybe do something like Splatoon, have an inbuilt like drawing app somewhere like where you get to draw for a map and something like that. I don't know. It might be a bit weird and out of place, but they could do something like that. Or maybe the Switch might just introduce some kind of drawing app or something like that for some weird reason. But other than that, they could probably still put the stage in and just have some random drawings that maybe Nintendo employees have done or something like that. I don't know. They could make it work.
True, because they made it work in Splatoon 2, didn't they?
They did.
Being
yeah.
able to
they just
walk
built it in.
around and have little pictures show up. So there you go. It might work.
Yeah. It could work.
So yeah, heaps of stages coming in. I'm pretty keen. Is there any sort of stages you'd like to see from new Switch games?
Well, ARMS ones would be cool, and God, in the previous recordings that we did, because we've recorded this twice. I think you mentioned it in the last one. Did you remember what other ones I mentioned at all?
I don't remember what you mentioned, but I remember what I mentioned, and that was a
Okay, what'd you mention?
Sniffer stage, which I think
There
would
you
be
go.
awesome.
That'd be cool.
That'd be
I
pretty
can't remember
cool.
what I mentioned, so yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, actually, you know what we need? You know that stage that was, that thing was shown in the reveal for Ridley, a Ridley stage, that bridge thing and the tube. You could do that.
Oh yeah, I think
can
it
work.
already exists though in the Wii U one,
Is it already a stage?
unless it's a different
There might be.
location.
Maybe it is.
But
Maybe.
also,
I mean, they
another
might have,
idea
They might have
we
a
had-
Ridley stage.
Another idea we had
Okay.
was a level stage on 1-2 Switch, where you had just real life people in the background shooting
That's
each
right.
other, or during dance battles and all that kind of stuff. It'd be really weird, but just classic
It would
Super
be.
Smash Bros. sort of style.
Hmm.
Also a
pretty cool.
Tetris stage, I think would be pretty cool.
There. And I think I also mentioned a Space Invaders stage just for the sake of Space Invaders being on its 40th anniversary, I think. I still haven't fact-checked that, but I think it is. But that'd be cool. Just get some classic games, just getting some representation there, so that'd be cool. Do that.
Exactly.
Or maybe it'll be a assist, yeah.
Maybe even a Pokken tournament stage. There's just so many options to choose from.
Pokemon Go. You could have someone like you could have a Pokemon Go stage where someone flicks a ball at you, and you have to dodge the ball.
Oh my gosh, isn't that just dodgeball?
Dude, there's so many. Yeah, man. There's so many opportunities you can do. Oh man, Nintendo have too much like IPs, honestly.
Exactly.
What
You
the
need
heck?
to sell them. Come on, guys. Let Disney buy
right.
some stuff. So
Yeah,
moving
fine.
on from stages, we also have assist trophies. They showed off some new assist trophies, including Bomberman from Konami, another Konami character in the game, which is pretty cool. We've got Knuckles the Echidna, who seems to be replacing Shadow. No one has seen Shadow anywhere, so we don't know why that would be. Echo Fighter maybe? But then we've also got all the returning assist trophies, and apparently there's going to be a lot in this game. I had the idea of maybe having an indie character as an assist trophy, because a lot of people want an indie character as a playable character. And while that'd be awesome, I don't think that would happen. And I think they'll be more suited to the role of an assist trophy, so we'll have Shovel Knight or
Yeah,
Shantae as an
Absolutely.
assist trophy. What do you think about that, Jim Jam?
I feel like that's gonna be a thing. Because people are shouting out about like we need some indie reps for characters and stuff like that. But I feel like Smash Brothers is very solidified in the fact that it's a Nintendo All Stars plus Japanese developers, centric kind of thing. Like all these different titles from Japanese developers and stuff like that coming together to fight. And having an indie developer that's Western or whatever that might be might feel out of the mix and it might not work so well. So I think if that were the case, there would be an assist trophy. So yeah, Shovel Knight would work really well, like jumping up and down on his shovel on top of people and stuff like that, and have other certain characters in there. So yeah, that would probably work the best. You'd probably see an indie assist trophy, at least 3, I think, tops. That'll be probably it.
So moving on, they also showed off the new mechanics of the game as well. And oh boy, did the competitive people like the look of this game. They're sort of bringing elements
this was
from
good.
different Smash Bros. Games, from Melee, all that kind of stuff. I'm not too big on competitive Smash Bros. I enjoy playing the game, but I'm not too keen on all the little intricacies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
neither.
I appreciate it for all the people who do. We've got the sort of dodging in mid-air where you sort of strafe to left and right, which is pretty cool. We've got a new
air
mechanic.
dodging, yeah.
We've got a new mechanic where by rolling, it will slowly sort of make you more vulnerable the more times you roll. Because in Smash 4, you have characters like Sonic who could just roll all the time and just get away with it, and it'd just be kind of a boring fight because you're just rolling. Where in this one, if you keep rolling, you get punished for it, which I think is pretty cool. It makes everyone more
That's cool.
aggressive, and the game has sort of sped up generally and is more faster. You get knocked off the stage quicker. What do you think about this new sort of gameplay mechanics for the Smash?
I think it's cool, yeah, just because like you're adding some slight refinements to the core gameplay and stuff like that. And as much as you say, as a casual player and someone that doesn't play competitively, I'm the same as well. But I really appreciate good game design, and I feel like even casual people will be able to recognize that there are differences and that there are things that are making the game feel better to play.
And making this
in
actually
terms
a
of
new game rather than a port.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So speed, different attributes like that. They said like if you play one-on-one, there's more damage that's dealt to characters in one-on-one to really make that game kind of a bit more fast-paced and more intense, as opposed to dodging each other all the time and jumping around being idiots. Suddenly, you get hit and you get 30% as opposed to like 23%, something like that. So it's a huge buff to the actual damage that's dealt, so that's really cool. And then other gameplay mechanics as well, like the unlocking characters thing as well, which we didn't mention, where you start with a really small roster of like the same amount that was in the first Smash game, and then you kind of expand out as you go, so it kind of feels like you're really kind of gathering characters together as opposed to, I've got a huge roster, I don't know who to choose from. And I feel like for someone like me, who has been off Smash for quite a while, there's so many characters to choose from. I don't know which character I want to be my favorite one that I always latch onto. If I start with a small roster I'm familiar with, which is the Smash 64 roster, I can choose a character in there, and then when I unlock a new character, I can give that character a go and mess around with them for a while, and then I'll unlock a new character. Be like, oh cool, I'll try this one out. So I get to kind of try every character out as I go, kind of take my time with it, and I'll eventually find like, oh, I really like Pac-Man. I might play more with Pac-Man. I really like Bowser or something like that. I don't know. And just kind of really latch on to certain characters as I kind of go, and instead of being presented with 65 characters and being like, I don't know who to choose first, and then kind of just being like, I guess Mario. Yoshi, I know him. It's more like you get to try things out, so it's cool. Definitely with a big roster, it's really helpful to do that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Enjoy that.
Whereas in the Wii U version, you just sort of got every character at once, and you could only unlock about like 3 characters. But it was quite overwhelming at first because you're like, there's all these characters. Where do I start? Where do I begin from?
Yeah,
Whereas in the
this
new
gives
one,
you a
you take
starting
your time.
spot. It's,
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
Jimmy, I have a question for you.
ooh, what's that?
In the last episode, you said something about Dragon Ball Fighters, about how Smash Brothers sort of has taken inspiration from that game, and I was left clueless. So, would you care to
Okay.
explain?
So, from my knowledge, Dragon Ball Fighters, they have a similar kind of finisher to Smash Attacks, stuff like that. And their finishers are really quick to the punch, really just quick animations, get them out of the way, and get back into it. And this game is kind of taking a lot of inspiration from that. From what I've heard and from what I've seen, I've kind of looked at the gameplay for each game, and I can really see what they're doing with it. Because you have characters like Pac-Man. Their final smash is really slow, and you kind of are there for like 10 seconds trying to reposition your character and try and get it to work. And then you have other ones like, is there other like really obnoxious final smashes like Donkey Kong's?
Yeah, Donkey Kong Game & Watch, you turn to an octopus and you're just wobbling
Yeah,
about.
that was terrible. Yeah. With this one, what they seem to be doing is that once you get the final smash, you just hit one button, and then the animation takes it from there. It does it itself, it gets out of the way. It doesn't require you to put any sort of huge effort into making that final smash be effective. It just will be effective. And that's really cool, because like, you might spend a long time trying to get that smash ball. When you finally get it, you give it a go and you mess up, or you don't know how it works, or something like that. Like sometimes you might be trying a character for the first time, and then you get the smash ball, and then you're like, I don't know how this works, and then you get confused. With this one, it's like it takes the reins off you, and just does an animation and does the impact it needs to do. Of course, there's some like, I guess a link. You have to aim, I guess, because you have the bow and arrow. But other than that, it's very much like really self-explanatory. So I kind of really like that, and then it's really fast-paced, gets you back in the action. It's not like taking away from it. Like, oh great, I have to wait for the landmaster to go away to actually do something. It's more like this animation's going to happen and back right in. So that's something that Dragon Ball Fighters does, which is also developed by Bandai Namco, and they're like, cool, this really works really well. It helps with the fast-paced nature of the game, and we want this to be a fast-paced game. So we'll take that, over to this one, make that work. Because when was Smash Balls were announced, were first established, right, in Brawl, correct? And that was the game where Smash Brothers started to slow down. I think that's the slowest one. And then they kind of sped up a little bit in Smash 4. And now they're really like trying to refine how a Final Smash works and how it can actually keep the game flowing and not, detract from anything. I think they finally nailed it, and they know exactly what they want to do. So that's why this is going to probably feel a lot more like how we remember Melee feeling, a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more, getting in the action and stuff like that. So it's gonna be cool. I feel like it's gonna be more of a Melee meets Smash 4 kind of mixed together in that aspect.
Yeah.
So that's the comparison there for you.
Well, now I know. Thanks, Jim.
You know he knows. No probs.
So Smash Bros. Ultimate will be releasing this December. We originally hoped it would be coming out in September, along with the Nintendo Switch Online service. That wasn't the case. But at least we're getting it this year. Hopefully it won't get delayed at the last minute. Fingers crossed.
It probably won't. I doubt it. I feel like they're very solid. I think with these Switch games, just aside from Fire Emblem,
And Yoshi.
they're very solid. And Yoshi. I feel like for most of these huge titles, Fire Emblem, I know it's a big title, but majority of people, like a huge market of people, don't really care. But I feel like most of these big core Nintendo games, like Smash, like Mario Odyssey, like I'm gonna say Breath of the Wild, but that game got delayed to heck as well. But I feel like now that the Switch is a thing, I feel like they're gonna be like, cool, we're gonna hit these punches and actually get these games out. And I feel like since they've got a game to build off of, helps them a little bit more, because as people say, you know, is this a port? Is this a new game? It's a new game, but that doesn't mean you can't take assets out of games. Like a game we mentioned in the last episode, Trials Rising, that's obviously going to take assets from Trials Fusion. You save money that way. It's a lot more efficient. Like, why wouldn't you? So just because there's models and maps and all that kind of stuff from a past game, it doesn't make it a port. You wouldn't say it about any Call of Duty game that takes any assets from the previous game. You wouldn't say it's a port. It's a new game. So I don't know why it has to be a thing for this one. So I don't know. Look, I forget where I'm going with this.
That's fair enough. We should finish this up. Smash Bros. Ultimate coming out this year. I can't wait. Brawl out, move out the way. We don't care about you anymore. Well, we never did to begin with, to be honest.
We never did.
Sick burn there. Look forward to heaps of more Smash Bros. Ultimate footage, news, thoughts, opinions, gameplay when the game comes out here at Nintendo Lounge. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you just had us in a different tab, I know who you are. And we shall see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.